Hey folks, welcome back to another Battle Report. It's been a while, I know, but I think we're finally back to doing a regular gaming club, so it'd be fantastic, so I can actually get some battle reports out for you. I'm going to do a slow grow, couple of games. It's going to be once a month as part of like a mini tournament for the club. It's all Warhammer Fantasy 6. It's starting at 1500 points, and we're going to add 500 points up to 3k in December, so we should have a good mix of games. And this here in the background is my fully painted 1500 points. I'm well chuffed with how that's looking. So let's have a quick look and see what's in my list. So in my army I have Scar Veteran with Glyph Necklace, a Sword of Might, Blessing of Quetzal. I've got another Scar Veteran with Firefly Frog, Jaguar Charm, Shield Light Armor, Blessing of Quetzal and Sotek. So he's really fast, great for taking out characters and can get around the board pretty quick. There's an 18-inch move. Skink Priest with a Dispel Scroll, level 2, Law of Heavens. Got 2 units of Saurus, one with 20, one with 19, 2 units of Skinks, both 10 with Blowpipes, a unit of 3 Crocs, and finally my Stegodon, which I have to say was an absolute joy to paint. But to get it done I had to put the Skinks separately, so I painted them glued to a base, but then getting them back in that howdah, that was a bit of a nightmare, that was, to get that to fit. But really chuffed with how he's turned out and the overall look of my army. So, looking at my opponent list, and on his side, this is his left flank, my right. He's got a spawn on the far side there, and he's got a unit of 15 chosen with his aspiring champion with a shield in it. The crazy looking stone thing behind him is his objective marker. We had a special part of the pitch battle missions where each player has to make an objective marker, puts it in a unit, and if you have an objective marker, you get bonus points. Gives you a bit of an extra score at the end of the game. Then we move across, he's got his Fire Sorcerer, level 2 with an extra spell, 2 Chariots, his Chaos Warriors, which also has his Heroine, who's Enchanted Shield, Bard Warhorse, and Rending Sword, if I'm right there. Unit of a Beast Herd, mix of Gors and Ungors, and on the far side there it's his dogs. So this is how we're looking at the start of turn 1. I won the roll-off to go first, and I gave it to my opponent since he didn't have much shooting or anything. The Orky building and the Orky ruins are impassable, obviously 2 hills and some woods. Yeah, if anyone likes those Orky bits, they're actually from the Idol of Gork, which I think was a 5th, or maybe in 4th edition rule set, which is like a little mini campaign, but you can actually find it online and get the original printouts and just print them out yourself. These are just me printing them off onto a bit of card, cutting them to shape and use them as scenery just to add in. So just a quick couple of shots from my side of the table. So this is my right side, and it's my Saurus Warriors, this is my large unit. The extra base behind, that's my little objective. It's basically a bronze plaque. If you look at my first pictures of my whole army, it should be on the pyramid behind my Stegodon. And with that I've got some Skink Skirmishers in front of Blowpipes, and my Wizard, Law of Heavens, that's hiding nicely in the wood. And for this game he got Second Sign and Uran's Thunderbolt, which I think is the D6 Strength 4 no armor save one, which came in handy. So there's the Idol of Gork there. As I say, just card, printed with printed paper, glued it to over the top of it, covered in PVA and based. And so for my Saurus Warriors I have my 19 unit there, but plus my General, who's the one with the Sword of Might and the Glyph Pendant, whatever it is, the 5-up ward save. And on the top there I've got my Crocs and another unit of Skink Skirmishers with my runaround crazy Jaguar dude. And in behind that, of course, is my Stegodon. So my opponent just moves up a little bit and just gets in position, ready to pretty much counter whatever I do. Looking at his list, what he's got there, there's not a lot I can do with the chosen unit. I don't think any of my foot troops can take on his chosen unit, so I'm probably going to avoid them and just accept I'm not going to get that statuette. In which case I'm going to concentrate on everything else. On the left hand side there with the Stegodon and that, I think they should do fine against the Gore Herd and the dogs. Both have got low leadership. The only downside there, the guy with the Rending Sword is also there, who will probably quick kill my Stegodon, because what that does is for every wound caused it does D3 wounds, so that won't be great for me. And that's also his general, so it does give him a bit of a buff there. But also I've got the Stegodon bow, which ignores armor, so it might be worth shooting those epoxy Chaos Knights. As for the chariots, again I could probably take 1 on a charge, definitely not 2, and my Croxicores will definitely not take on those Chaos Knights. So I'm going to try and swing around to the other side there and try and slow them down with my Jaguar dude. So on my first turn, it's exactly what I do. With an 18-inch move, he gets himself into a nice position in the woods there, between the the beast herd, which you can't really slow down because it's unfortunately a skirmisher, so they can always move at double pace. But I do slow down the Chaos Knights, which is perfect for me, and also gives me a chance now to wander around his back line and hopefully pick on a wizard or something that I can find back there, or even charge a chariot. It's a damn sight better to charge it than being charged by it. This is my opponent's turn too, so you can basically see where I've moved to. The rest of my guys have stayed pretty much stationary and just waiting for them to come to me. He's got a lot of edge on a lot of the charges, and I don't want to get multi-charged in too many places. So down the bottom, my skinks have moved up, ready to use the blowpipes against the spawn. Even though I think it's toughness 5, but if I just roll a few 6s, it's got no armor, I should be able to take it out relatively easily. Other than that, I think my opponent's just playing it a bit cagey and just moving up steadily, trying not to obviously get charged as well. He doesn't want to get charged by cross, of course. With strength 7, that would be ideal for getting them into the chariots or into the Chaos Knights. But I want to remove that Lord first, because that D3 wounds will wipe through my Crossclaws relatively easily. And my magic didn't do anything, and my bow missed because he's a large target, so I can see over my own troops. And my opponent's phase, I don't think his magic did anything. He tried to get conflagration off. I may have used a spell scroll or just stopped it myself, and that was about it really. So my turn, I managed to get some magic off, and I Urim Thunderbolt his wizard. I can believe what it is the first turn. Obviously I didn't need line of sight to him, but he was within 4 inches of a friendly unit same size, so I thought I couldn't hit him, but of course Urim Thunderbolt, it doesn't matter anyway. But he came over here when he was next to his chariot and his cavalry, so he had no protection even against shooting. And yeah, blasted him, so good one for the skinky priest there. And then in my shooting phase, the spawn had moved up in my opponent's phase, I think about 12. He went really fast and ended up just in front of him. I just fired them all, double shot, and took him out. I think I did 5 wounds. It might be a 4-wound beastie, so it might not be too surprising, but yeah, I was quite glad I took him out. So we spin over to turn 3. You can just see the movements I did in my turn. On the top side there, I marched my Stegodon up, making sure he's out of charge range of the Chaos Lord, who's got the rending ability. So I thought they'll terror the dogs, terror the Gore Horde, and not to worry. Then my skinks decided to run in behind the hill, because they don't want to take on the Gore. There's no chance there at last. I'll be pretty easily killed on that. My hero came out of the Saurus unit down in the middle there. He came out because I was a bit worried about a double charge from the chariots. Yeah, that wouldn't do me much good, so they actually backed the Saurus off. I don't think I could take on 2, I could take on 1. I think my standard rank would help. And as you can see, my Saurus hero has run up there into the middle just to slow down whatever he can. In this, before my opponent has already moved, so it would have affected his cavalry and his infantry. There's no worry with the chariots, because the chariots can't march anyway. And then my opponent has moved up, as you can see. He's moved up aggressively with his Gore Horde. He's quite happy there with his leader there to have a leadership check. There's no worries there. Also my Croxicores, as you can see, they turned 90 degrees and then marched to get the hell away from his leader, who would blend in pretty quick. And then strength 7 against chariots is fantastic. And then I think that's all my opponent's done. He's just moved, as you can see. The dogs stayed 6 inches away from my Stegodon, so they don't get terrored. And he took his mounted hero out to try and chase off my little hero. It's not a combat I think I'd take, but I'm just glad he's out of there, because that makes that unit of knights a bit more squishy. Here's a quick look at the beast herd, and they just move up, almost ignoring my Stegodon, just to try and get to the flanks of everything else, and maybe into the flank of my Stegodon. But yeah, he does pass his terror test. Last turn I think I moved up to try and terror him off, but yeah, his general's there, so he was okay. So there's just an overview of, you can see what I moved in my turn. So at the top there, the Stegodon moved, turned around, and yeah, he took a shot at those knights and managed to take out 3 of the 5. That's fantastic with that giant bow. Down the bottom, I reform my Croxicores, so they're a bit more of a fighting position now, and push up my Lizardmen unit. I'm pretty sure I can take on both of them. If he charges both of them into my Saurus, I will flee, because I'm pretty sure I can get away from them. My Saurus hero is hiding in the woods there, and my skinks move up to just do some shots at the Chosen. I think over the before they get caught. I think they kill 3 in 1 round of shooting, and that actually, I think, makes their points back up, because I think the Chosen work out to be like 21 points each, and these guys are only 60, so yeah, that's going to be a fair trade there. Here's a quick shot of my Stegodon, yeah, just doing his thing, as he shoots over and takes out the Chaos Knights. Well chuffed. There is a banner in that unit still left, and the champion. My little guy there, as you can see, is just trying to be irritating now, because I get a 360 arc, his mounted guy does not, so I'll just run around him and just be generally annoying with that chap. Actually, at this point now, I think he could probably take on those Chaos Knights. So this is how we're looking now at the end of, at the beginning of turn 4. It's about to be my opponent's turn. Yep, everything's moved up. I'm still happy with the position I'm in. I'm picking the fights that I want to fight at the moment, and I'm leaving the rest to my opponent. So my opponent starts with a terror check, and unfortunately his dogs run off. I position my Stegodon into position. I was within 6 inches, and with their leadership flank 5, they managed to scarper. Over here my opponent was kind of forced into charging both my units, which kind of works out for me, because I'm pretty sure with combat reds, unless he rolls really high for the impact hits, my Saurus have got a good chance of winning that, or at least holding. And on the other side, again, he has to do 6 wounds to make sure I don't strike back, because all I need to do is inflict 1 wound to him, and my Crocs are strength 7. The downside with him, he couldn't charge on both ends of the Saurus, because if I fled and he didn't catch me, then it would be failed charges. There's nothing to redirect in, because he could have charged the Crocs anyway. So yeah, he decided to split them up and put 1 in each, in which case I held. So over on my left hand side, the Stegodon was about to get charged by the Beast Herd, but they actually failed their leadership check, so didn't charge, which was good for me, because I needed the charge ready to beat the combat res. He's also moved his Lord up, as you can see there in the woods, ready to charge my Steg as well. Combined charge of both of them is going to be quite nasty, so I hope to wipe out the the Gore Herd in one go. And you see his Chaos Knights are just prancing away. Unfortunately they can't move too fast, because my hero's there being annoying. In the combat against my chariots, he managed to kill off 1 of the Croc Skulls, which means I still had 1 to strike back. I managed only to hit with 1 of my attacks, but it wounded, and he had no save against did he have a save against it? 3-up save? No, I don't think he's got a save against it. It's what, -4 for strength 7, so 6, 5, 4, 3. No, it doesn't get a save against it, so I killed it, and that's that one gone. The other combat against the chariot was a win for my Saurus. He did quite a bit of damage, but not enough to beat my combat res. I don't think I've got any wounds through, but with standard 3 ranks, outnumber, it wasn't going to be an easy one for him to win. And he does fail, and I did pursue, but as you can see, he ran quite fast. So in my turn, I get some charges off, charge my Stegodon into the Beast Herd. They passed their fear test. No, they didn't. I think they failed their fear test. So they'd be hitting on 6s in the first round of combat. And I really need to hit these guys hard, due to the fact that Chaos Lord will probably be the end of my Stegodon if I don't. And so things are looking at the beginning of round 5. So I charged with my chariot and just chased off his chariot there. He obviously had to flee. I just wanted to put it out of the game for a while, and so I don't have to worry about it. I've moved my general up just to be with my guys, maybe get some charges on, see if I can get combined charge on that chosen unit. I think I could possibly take him on then. And then at the top of the battle, yeah, those bloody beastmen held. I couldn't believe that. That means my Stegodon is now going to get charged. So if you do notice, his general is on 1 wound, thanks to my wizard. And also my chap in the middle, the Jaguar dude, he's there because he tried to chase off the Chaos Knights who decided to flee from him. So in my opponent's turn 5, he declares a charge against my Steg and passes his fear check and ends up going in. On the other side, he charges against my Skinks, who obviously flee and didn't want anything to do with that. So they get a failed charge, and they're just like sitting around there all by themselves. My Skinks, I don't think they actually rallied in it running off, but as I said, in the meantime they'd killed off 3 chosen and actually got their points back with the 3 kills they got. So quite happy with that, I can live with that. Unfortunately, on the other side, I lose combat. My Stegodon doesn't manage to take the last wound off his Chaos Lord. I fail my stubborn leadership 5 and flee, and then he runs me down with his Chaos Lord. So in my turn, at the top there, I just aim my skinks ready to shoot his general, just try and get the last one in. I move my wizard up also to try and get a spell off and see if I can kill off his general. My crocs take on the chaos knights in the middle there, and down the bottom I'm just surrounding the chaos warriors. But maybe I'll charge in on the last turn kind of thing. I forgot to mention that my Jaguar Scar Vet had also charged the Gore, the beast herd, and unfortunately completely flubbed all his 5 attacks and lost and ran away. I was kind of hoping he would stay there for a couple of turns and just hack away with his cold-blooded. But nope, he fled, which now means he's probably going to end up fleeing in the last turn as well, unless he goes for my Skinky Priest. This is how the battle looks at the end of, well, the start of turn 6. The Croxagors down the bottom there, they've managed to kill off the knights and chase them off. And I think that's ready. I'm just ready to do a dual charge on the big guys if I can. My skinks at the top there will just come down and try and shoot some of the beast herd off, try and get them to panic. And that's about all I can do in my turn. So my opponent declares a charge against my skink priest, and as I said, he flees and manages to get away, so I have a turn just to rally them and get my points back, fingers crossed. So my opponent turns his Chaos Warriors around to face my chaps, and then in my final turn, I try to work it out, and I decided not to charge. I'm up pretty well. I've won this game if I don't lose any of my source or anything, because I didn't actually lose a hell of a lot. So I didn't bother charging in. Thinking about it, there was a pretty good chance I'd win. I'm up on rank. I'll have my hero in versus his hero. But no, I decided not to. My Saurus rallied and my Skink Priest rallied, and so everyone's happy. That was a great game. My opponent did really well. I think I've just managed to stay away from that big chunky unit. I would like to have got it for the massive victory points, but I won with what I got. Picked on what I didn't want to fight, what I wanted to fight, and everything did the job as I wanted to do it. The Jaguar Scarvet is still one of my favourites. He's just so damn irritating with that 18-inch move. Stop people from marching and just charge light troops and light cavalry, that kind of thing. He's great for it. Unfortunately, just as I've finished off doing this, I've just got a news report from the BBC that looks like the new COVID rules means there'll be no meetings of more than 6 people. So I'm not sure what to do with my club at the moment, or whether we'll be having more games again. It might just be private event help, but just so I can hold it and have a few people for a game, a large venue. I don't know yet, so fingers crossed. I've got another battle report coming soon. I've already done it and played recorded 2 games in the day, so I've got this one which wasn't my tournament game, and then I've got another one against a Lustria, Skaven, it's not Nurgle, what are they called? Clan Pestilence, that's what they're called. So quite an appropriate game for the next one. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it's all good and we'll have some more games in the future, and I'll get my next games in. Obviously I'll be building up now for a 2K game. There's not going to be a lot added to this. I think a couple of salamanders, my Jaguar dude is going to become a lord. I think I get one more Croxagor. I think that's about it. I mean, it's not ahead of... Oh, I've got another wizard. Because definitely don't have enough defense against anyone who relies on magic, such as Tomb Kings or the Undead. So having another Dispel Scroll, or maybe the Diadem of Power, just to give me a bit more of an edge. And of course another Fork Lightning would not go amiss. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care, y'all.